Kevin Stefanski faces urgent QB decision as Shedeur Sanders' dominance terrifies rival QB. Preseason should be like a Sunday grocery shop, fast, efficient, and preparing you for the upcoming week. However, Kevin Stefanski keeps running into the same dilemma every shopper dreads, and that is trying to choose the right option when nothing feels quite right. Throughout the league, veteran players such as Joe Flacco are consistent. Young guns such as Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel are trying to prove themselves, and prospects such as Shedeur Sanders have long-term potential. The Browns themselves have their cart full already, but whether the pick pays off at the checkout remains to be seen. The Browns head coach is facing a decision that's both timely and inescapable. Rookie Dillon Gabriel, who was previously thought to be fighting for backup snaps, saw his momentum derailed when he committed a vicious pick-six against the Eagles. A play that appeared forgivable until the All-22 revealed him looking away from two open receivers, fixating on Deontay Johnson, and throwing into traffic. Analyst Mike didn't mince words on his channel microphone, declaring the interception 100% on Dillon Gabriel. As Mike explained the whole play, he said, "Gabriel kept his eyes on Deontay Johnson and Johnson only. He attempted to feed him the ball with him being legitimately a foot away from another receiver, hence, resulting in the route being jumped and crucial points going the other way. Dillon definitely messed up the whole play and got intercepted." He even compared it with how Shedeur Sanders had run the same idea a week prior with composure, methodically working through progressions before throwing a touchdown. That disparity has only served to expand the Cleveland quarterback competition gap. Kevin Stefanski needs to make a difficult decision, whether to invest further in Gabriel's shaky development or take a ride on Sanders' growing confidence and output. Although they have declared that Joe Flacco will start Week 1 against the Bengals. At age 40, he's the lone quarterback to have survived camp without a soft tissue ailment. His consistent hand in practice has made him the obvious choice. But stability doesn't fix all of Flacco's issues. Behind him, the backup depth chart is cloudy. Kenny Pickett, who is nursing a hamstring, has spent most of camp as the number 2. Gabriel, who's served in Pickett's place, hasn't done enough to instill confidence. And Sanders, who got limited reps, has created the most buzz. Well, it's not just the Browns' dilemma. The Saints are weighing Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shaw, with head coach Kellen Moore acknowledging Tuesday that the battle is very, very close. Moore added, "We consider all facets of this quarterback battle. Numbers, experience, reps, everything. It's going all the way back to the beginning of training camp. All is very, very tight between this crew." The Indianapolis Colts, on the other hand, have already identified Daniel Jones as their Week 1 starter. It means the Saints are the only team that is not sure about their starter. Moreover, Shedeur Sanders' rise in the Browns has been giving the rival QBs a scare. Fellow QB feels the heat from Shedeur Sanders' rise. Kevin Stefanski's cautious approach may be meant to keep things steady, but inside the facility, the quarterback battle has already started shaping up. The chatter intensified after Dillon Gabriel's rough outing against Philadelphia. When asked about how he blocks out the noise surrounding Cleveland's QB competition, his answer, while brief, sparked a wave of debate, turning fellows into rivals. "Yeah, it's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I completely get that. But competing is my job, and that's what I'm here to do." For others, that one entertainer's comment had a razor edge. One that seemed to be a shot at rookie Shedeur Sanders. Even though he has stolen a lot of the Browns' preseason attention with his confidence, accuracy, and play-extending capabilities. However, Gabriel later clarified that his words had nothing to do with his own teammates. He reiterated his faith in the system and said the outside noise regarding Sanders would not disrupt the work he and his unit are doing every day. It was a reset that was needed, the sort quarterbacks must periodically create when some errant quote gets magnified in the around-the-clock football gossip machine. But it also highlighted just how far Sanders' on-field work has infused the discussion. Despite all the hubbub, Sanders has been impressive. In 2 preseason appearances, he has thrown 14 of 23 for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions with a 106.8 passer rating. That effectiveness, combined with his cool-headedness amid pressure, has only increased the voices clamoring for Kevin Stefanski to put him into games. Though Sanders is questionable with an oblique injury, his brief but impressive resume is making waves. The rookie hasn't merely met the moment. Indeed, he's putting Cleveland's quarterback core on notice as well. The meeting room smelled faintly of coffee and fresh paper. two commodities that always soften the edges of impossible choices. Kevin Stefanski sat at the head of the table, playbook closed like a book of spells. Around him, assistants, coordinators, the general manager with a look that said spreadsheets had become prayers. On the tablet in front of Stefanski, practice clips looped, crisp drops, laser throws, glances that turned into completions. Shedeur Sanders' name blinked like a beacon. "All right," Stefanski said, voice low and practical. "We've got a problem that's also a privilege. Decisions. Privilege." The word landed in the room like a soft weight. It felt true and expensive at the same time. Across town, a rival quarterback sat in his own living room, fingers worrying the edge of a throw pillow. He'd watched the highlight reel the way you watch a storm. Fascinated, slightly fearful, wondering when it would reach him. Shedeur's throws were not just accurate. They were persuasive, convincing routes to open, converting doubt into motion. The rival QB's agent texted a short clip. "He's different." The rival's smile thinned. Back in the meeting room, Stefanski tapped the tablet and paused on a still of Shedeur mid-throw. "We're seeing development that accelerates when every rep counts," he said. "But we're also seeing the league watch. And the league will adjust." "Meaning?" the offensive coordinator asked. "Meaning the defense you face next month won't let him breathe the way they did today." Stefanski leaned forward. "We have to decide what we value now versus later. Continuity versus caution. Momentum versus preservation." The young quarterback had burst into the offense like sunlight through blinds, sudden, directional, warming parts the previous starter hadn't quite reached. The locker room hum had changed. Plays were met with more eyes, more nods. Even those who'd been skeptical in the spring found themselves studying his footwork like it held a new grammar. "But we also have a market effect," the GM said. "Teams adjust. Opposing QBs watch this kid and start sleeping worse. That has ripple effects. It changes how teams plan roster moves, how agents talk, how weather in November feels on the outside. If we ride the wave, we could unsettle the division." Stefanski rubbed his thumb along the edge of the playbook. He wasn't cavalier. He'd coached seasons that taught him patience and seasons that taught him the cost of waiting. The urgent QB decision wasn't just about who would start next Sunday.